Hi everyone, welcome back to the Strokes and Casual Compositions. Okay, we're going to continue on with another one. What I have here is just a 11 by 14 panel this time, and it's based with a light gray, just a little bit of black and white, tiny bit of yellow oxide into it, just to warm it ever so, but a nice light gray color. Because I'm thinking this time maybe we'll head into some of our blues, blue violets, and give that a shot. Okay, alrighty, let's get into some of this. I'm going to take my 3/4 inch brush here, and let's take let's get some of the blue down here, and let's gray that up. Maybe some of our phthalo blue. We'll gray that up with some of our burnt sienna here. Beautiful color, which also, like we've used before, it also warms the color, so I like to do that. And we'll lighten this color with a little bit of white here. We'll get this kind of a light bluish kind of color here, and that's a beautiful, beautiful color here to use to break up the background, to kind of fracture up this background here, what we call broken color. Break it up here, and we'll push some of this around. I love this starts and stops of the power of the color like this. And it just to push that through just adds so much interest. You can push a little more white into that, and maybe if we're going to have a little warmth to the yellow kind of flowers here, well, let's just warm this up right here, lighten this up, and put a stroke or two of this right across here, just to add some other color interest or color value interest inside of that. That looks pretty good. Now I'm just gonna, and I'm gonna keep it kind of simple here. Here I'm gonna grab my number 10, very well used number 10 here, flat, fusion flat, and then what we'll do is we'll take, I want to go to the bluish side here again, so I'm going to reach up, grab some of my phthalo blue, and let's grab some of that burnt sienna color, and let's keep that just a little bit toned here to the dark side, maybe just a bit of this light, just a touch of that here. And let's build a scroll, a C scroll here. And you have to decide first, one of the things I decide is, am I going to go flat brush all the way around like this, which makes a nice wide C scroll, which is a great thing to build on, or am I going to go down and taper down to a thinner one here? And that's one of the first things I decide. If you're ever unsure, just go to the taper, because you can always make it wider. But I think I'm going to go with the wide one down here first, and I'm going to set a wider C stroke of this right down like that. And I love that running out of color right down there like that. I like that to happen. So I'm going to reload the brush, and I'm going to come right up inside of this. We'll put another little wider stroke of this down, and we'll taper this one into this side here just a bit that time, just to widen that out. That's pretty good. Let's do let's do kind of an open, because we'll build some flowers off of this side here with this. Let's do a kind of open one here. Let's just come out this way here like this, and right down around, and we'll just chisel that right into there like that. Now, sometimes if I don't like the look, I'll go with the chisel to the outside like this, and do it in reverse, and set that one right up there like that, so I get a little different. I like that bit of fracturing that comes in off of that. Let's just widen that out like that. Just fracture that, let that color fracture a little bit. And let's change the color up a bit, maybe even a little more burnt sienna into it here, so the color changes, the tone changes just a bit. And let's do another stroke, or a little bit wider one, that this comes right down in here like this, and build it. Sometimes I walk from like here and to the inside, and sometimes I walk what I call to the outside of the scroll, widening it out here like this to the outside, which is actually bringing it back into the scroll here. So sometimes I do this, and I build an entire shape here coming back into this scroll like that. And I'll build that one more time here, coming around, twisting that around, and then just joining that right in here, right inside of that there. It makes a beautiful little scroll type of shape. You can build more out in here. We can do some more toned ones here in just a bit. But maybe I want to put a backing to this scroll here, another color, or that same type of color, or reverse it back the other way too. This is what makes the beautiful casual compositions of it. So that works pretty nice there like that. You can you know, you can put capping strokes out here like this, or take some of this off, or you know, we can turn this one right down in here like this, just, and almost dry brush, just let the color just kind of run off, so this does not carry a tremendous amount of interest to it. Let the color just kind of run off your brush right there, like just like that. All right, so with that in there, let's take some of this color and we'll position some of our flowers. So maybe we'll position a spray of flowers that are going to come out here like this, a spray of roses and flowers. So maybe we'll do a couple of roses up like here, okay, right here like this, and then we'll just spray down, which is very much rose mulling down like this. We'll just spray some ideas of some flowers here that just kind of move our color around. I love just to kind of soften sometimes those edges, very casual like that, soften those edges. And you know, sometimes you can spray, like we're going to have a little flower or something maybe coming right here, right off of this one as well. So you know, like little buds and then bigger flowers right up here, which this will be the main flower here that kind of controls the composition. Let's take a little bit more of our burnt sienna, maybe a little bit of our red violet, nice cool color, touch of the blue in there. That makes a nice deep, dark, cool color. And let's come into especially the center one here, and just a touch purpley there, and add this center, just kind of twist that out, a little shadow to the low side of this here, and just like that, maybe soften some of that edge and stuff, but we definitely need that nice dark center there. Let's put a darker center into this one, and remember, like we've said before, and I say it into the books and stuff, this the center points, takes the viewer's eye, so we don't want to point all the flowers in the same direction here, so one kind of pointing out that way and that way. We'll take a little bit of this cool color here, and we'll just kind of dance that around where these would be little flowers here, maybe to the bottom side, little touches, little curved, little casual C strokes of that color there. You can take a little bit of that color and add that into the scroll as well. That helps, you know, to see a little touch of that color through there. Let's just come right up here like this and put a little bit of that color right up in there like that. So it harmonizes, gets that color right into the scrolls as well. Let's put a little bit to the inside of this one as well, right in here. Boom, right in there. And we can take some of our blue and some of that color here, and let's just stroke out like this a bit here, and let's let that just kind of fade away. I love this kind of ghost, what I call a ghost movement to the scrolls here. You just kind of, with a ghost, just a dry brush or drag, you kind of set that that movement in there. Now let's take some of that dark and burnt sienna, a little bit of that red violet there, and let's just kind of imagine the stem line coming down here like this and blending right into that, and that one coming down, and that one I do just a chisel the brush. You could also use your a round brush or your quill liner to do something like that. Let's imagine some of these coming around, spinning around here. All of that movement, all that spinning movement coming out, that looks wonderful. Now we can take some, you know, you can come up and you can say, okay, I'm going to fill up some leaves up in here, and you can fill a wide variety of leaves, but I'll just take some of our soft blues, background colors here, add some of the burnt sienna and stuff that I have here. I'm looking at the grays, maybe warm that gray up here a little bit, and these will make beautiful leaves. See that color there? It's a beautiful soft kind of gray color, and it goes with everything because it just has all these colors in there. So, and we'll just make a casual kind of leaf shape here that we can define a little bit more later with our quill here, because we will do a little quill work on this one. But so we just want to have kind of a oval shape here coming through, and you know, we might want to make a little bit of a scroll shape there. if you make that scroll shape, you might want to back that up with a little scroll shape like this that gives weight and power to the scroll kind of coming up and through. And when I paint like this, I like to just casually put on here. I might take some of this color here. Let's lighten this up, soften this up, and just pull out some strokes like this, just movement strokes here that will shape up a little bit with some liner work in just a bit. But it just, again, carries some interest and some movement there, which is kind of fun. Let's do some little reverse kind of scroll strokes here to widen that up. Here, take that out. Let's come out there like this. Kind of very casual, and this is how I like to do it. Just kind of casual. Pull this through. Just create some nice movement. But these soft grays are beautiful. They'll add a lot of nice interest with the liner brush here. And we'll just create some what I call ghosting movements. These kind of almost like scroll kind of ghosting movements through. I like to do that, so I might like take one right here and just kind of just lightly, like maybe there's a little, just a movement of a scroll. Not a perfect thing, just a little bit of the movement there. Okay, so that is that one. Now, let's lighten up. Let's go up here towards our blues and our yellows and some of that white, just a nice, beautiful, warmish kind of white, just a touch of that yellow in there. And let's build, kind of curve down here, the front of the rose there. And since I hit up some of that purpley color, I'll wipe my brush, take some of that off, and let's build this a little bit lighter. So we stroke that again to build that a little lighter there. And then I'll kind of slide this right in here on the edge like this. That picks up a little bit more on the edge. And that'll allow me to put in like a stroke edge to the rose petal here. And we'll let that color fade off as it goes around there. And we'll pull some around here to this side. And we'll add just a stroke or two, letting that fade away onto that side. So we definitely are building that rose there on that side. And we'll build this up a bit more. Let's build a little bit more white. I hit a little bit of blue there. Let's just push that blue off to the side there. Grab a little yellow. I want a little more yellow in that. So we'll push that off the side. Grab some of this yellow and white here. Grab that through there. Maybe chisel. Pick up a little bit of color there onto the chisel. And we can pull through like this and add a second run of little petals there. The light, that nice chisel edge there, that nice little edge of light will help you draw the petals coming up there like that. Maybe not quite as light, we'll drop down to some of the softer gray and put like the indication of the back part of the flower there, like that. But you can lighten up and build up in there as much as you want. Let's just model some of this and build the light part of this rose here. Maybe not quite as many of the reaching petals or the saucer type petals there, because this one's not quite as opened as much and as big. But we might put a little edge here, and we just turn this slightly, and come in this way and put in the idea of a petal or so here. So let's come in here and here and just a bit right in there. So that comes down like that. Maybe just a idea of the light a little bit more here. There we go. And leave that very soft back there. Just very, very soft. And let's just build that one more time right here. Lots of paint and lots of paint. Just real light pressure of the brush. Just kind of directing that paint where I want it to go. Now I hit the edge of this petal here, so And I want this one up in front of that one, so I'll restroke this one with some thick paint right there, thick white paint. And let's do the same here. So this rose will come up on top of that one, right there. So I'll get two beautiful roses there. And let's just paint like a little rosebud here. Not too much to it. Maybe just the idea of a petal. Same way we'll come here, just a little curved type of shape here. Curving it a little, you just kind of like build a oval, slight oval round there in the center here. And it's just a suggestion of your flower. Your main flower is right up in here. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of light and reduce that center just a bit with a little more movement there. Yeah, that's sometimes adding a little more stroke in there keeps it from having just a super dark center and gives a little bit more interest into that. That looks pretty nice. So let's come and add a little bit of that light color right out here, like this is a little bud opening up down here. So that will get this one. Let's get a little bud right there. Let's get another little bud right down here. Well, I like that little bit of yellow that came out into that. That really came out nice. And I think maybe I'll express a little bit of that yellow up into my roses here. Just pull up just a touch of that. That's kind of nice. Let's just stroke a little yellow. So it's really kind of just a nice warm little touch of sunshine there. Sometimes something like that happens, and you just look at it and go, okay, now I like that, so I better incorporate that into a few more things. Now I'll set it into place with just a little bit more light color here. There we go. So we have that nice casual light there. Now we'll imagine some light caps here, little yellow and the white kind of edge, maybe a touch of the blue there, so it's not too light. Let's imagine some caps to these strokes, edges to these strokes here. And we'll come right around and join these in. Almost like a good Gudbrandsdal type scroll here. Coming right around, a nice rococo. Put in a cap around onto this side here. That's kind of nice. Joining that right up. So you're picking up that light color from the flowers down into the scrolls, and that gives a nice harmony to it. Let's do the same over here. So we'll just join that right in, chisel that right down. Let's bring that right into one right here. Just walk that across just a touch there. That's kind of nice. We can even cap this end one here before that comes here. So I just pick up a little bit right onto the corner. Find like the edge that you want, come right around like that, and just taper it right into the scroll, right there before it ends into that flower there. We'll widen this cap out just a bit here, and it picks up just a bit of that blue, and it's really quite pretty, quite lovely when it does that, like that. We can have just an idea of a little cap here as well, coming right around and joining right into the edge there. Something about those little caps and turns that just add so much to the painting here. Let's widen this one out just a bit here. There, like that. I love to get a little of that streakiness in there. We can reverse turn that cap coming the other way, this way as well. Right back up and around. And imagine some of this coming around like that. Just let it just kind of chisel and fall into there, and that gives you a real pretty look to this one here. Now one of the things that I think makes the whole painting is the line work. So let's take some line work here, and let's take some burnt sienna and some phthalo blue here. And since this is all really wet, let me grab my board here, which I've showed you before, to keep my hand out of this. I'm going to add a little water. This is my quill. I'm going to add a little water. So like I say, you should do some of your line work and line work decorations with water rather than extender, because water causes the paint to flow a little better. But let's come out here and let's just do a little liner work decoration, stepping off the edge of the leaf here. So, and we'll add one or two little strokes there for the vein line. Step off the edge of the leaf so you get some airiness to the leaf here. And you can turn back. That's a very much of a telemark type style there. A little turn back there. So you can add some different inspired things here. Let's put a little line here. A little line. And you can do just liner work decoration with it as well. Here. Just leave some space, so, and that just helps your design become more airy, especially on a larger board like this. And, you know, let your lines get really wispy out here. Just the bare tip of the brush here touching this. Let this just come ever so light out there in that movement. We might add you might come in there and add a stroke or two in there as a little wispy, what we call, you see me in the technique guide there, little wispy strokes. Let's add a little crossing there. Sometimes I'll put some line decorations out here onto the flowers. Not always, just sometimes here, because that adds another little bit. And they did that in telemark flowers, and of course every artist was a little different. But that just takes some of the line work right into the flowers there. Sometimes I think I do almost as much liner work in the design as it does to paint it. It takes almost as long to liner work it. But after 40 years of painting this like this, and all the lines that I've done, I've kind of got my own little way about it, and of course it's changed from time to time, but every artist has a little different way to do the line work. And you'll find yours. You paint enough of these, and casual, you'll find yours, and yours will be different, and that's good. We all want to paint a little bit different. This is just really casual painting here, and there's no, there's good design rules and stuff here, but you can let what happens happen during the painting. It's quite nice, quite fun. Here, just kind of put some leaf shapes up here. Boy, I tell you, since I use a lot of these global colors, they stay wet like in oils, and this board is just essential to keep your hand out of it. Just move it around, and it works so very well. I highly recommend that you just go get yourself one. Or the bridge. There's the little bridge you can set over it. Here. There we go. Very light little wispy lines, just the very tip of this little quill. I love this Raphael quill. It's just light. It's beautiful. It holds a lot of paint. You can set up your own kind of line work with it. It's wonderful. It responds so quickly to the movement of your hand, and that's what I like about it. Here. But I leave little spaces here. See how I leave these little spaces here? I leave a space between the edges there, and then I leave little spaces here. Don't let the lines touch each other. If the lines touch each other, then they start to get heavy. So I leave little spaces, little breaks. Here you can put down a little calyx stroke here, like this, since we're right there where we see the calyx stroke. We can add a few lines there. And it's kind of like, how much you want to decorate is up to you. But the main thing that I want is I leave some spaces here. And then don't overdo it. Let it stay casual. Don't overdo it. Here, it's very easy to overdo it. Let's put a few little lines out here, little light lines fading away. Out here, like this is a nice little Rococo unit here. That line comes up and around, that line comes up and around. Here, a few lines. Maybe a nice little line crossing there. Little scroll tide, what we used to call it. Here. But of course done now, more casual. Here. This one here, down this line. Put a little bit right in here. Just look through your design now and see, is there any kind of other place that you want to kind of clean up a bit here. You know, it's kind of questionable. Do I want to do some more wispy strokes out here to the top, or you know, you can do wispy strokes, or you can do some just liner work, very light liner work, you know, kind of leaves here like this, just light, very, very impressionistic, just movement lines, and that helps it kind of square up a little bit here, like that. And maybe a couple more little lines here, like that. There we go. There you go. There you have it. Real fast one there. 27 minutes. Not quite 27 minutes, 26 minutes. Okay? That's a fun little quick composition. You have that. And we use very, very simple colors here. Your blues, your yellows, whites, and some burnt sienna. And it made kind of a real pretty kind of color combination. And I love those turnbacks this time, lightening up those caps and stuff. It gives it a little bit more of a Gudbrand style type of look, okay? Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you had a lot of fun. We'll see you over on the next one.